Hey everybody, I'm just gonna try to set up the lighting in here. I was wondering how it would do, so just give me a second. I gotta get some more lights up in here. I hope you can hear me. How's the sound? Let's see how that is. Well, I can see there now. There we go. Okay, a bit loud. Okay, I was kind of raising my voice a little bit because I didn't know if the microphone on the laptop would pick it up. So I think that's okay I'm out in the Viking cabin right now in my roundhouse or hut, whatever configuration fits the best. Yeah, I'm glad to see you. Oh, we got 2 people on the live stream. That's great. We're just testing out the settings. I got some fire going on in the back if you hear any cracking, popping noise. But, yeah, I'm just seeing if this works. Seeing how fast the sound, audio, and everything transmissions are. And looks like we've got 6 people here now. Cool. Thanks for the thumbs up. And, yeah, I'm happy to see everybody here. And this is going to be a real quick live stream. If this works really well, I'll be doing this a lot. So I got situated in my cabin now finally to where I can actually sit down. I put away most of my tools, and I've got it to where it's actually kind of lively. Is that the correct word? Yeah, so I actually sit down. There's still great projects here I got planned. I got the door is going to come down. I'm making a completely museum historically inspired door, all out of random wood pieces that look really cool. It's got too much modern metal parts on it, and yes, this is not a historically correct cabin, but I'm taking more and more of the screws out in places where you can see them and putting forged nails in. It adds so much to the aesthetics already that I've been looking around here for the last couple hours. I was sitting in here trying to figure things out, and it makes quite a difference. Beer, yes, but I have to drive home from here, so maybe on Sunday. Sunday is Samhain. I'm going to have a small get-together with my dearest of dearest friends here at the camp. We're going to maybe throw some food on the fire and have good times and celebrate that we're alive and healthy and harvest is over. And so it's let's see, the bone. Oh, hi, my good friend. I didn't see who that was. Hallo, wie geht's? Prost. Ja, ich teste gerade just for my German friends real quick, ich teste gerade die Livestream-Möglichkeit. Kann man mich gut hören? Ist da alles gut? Weil ich mache das jetzt ganz kurz nur zum Test. So, let's see, I have not the room for a hut or cabin where I live. Oh, that's, yeah, that's real tough. Yeah, that's, possibly, I had to look a long time. I waited 6 years to get this property. I had to wait 6 years, and by chance, I got just the right person at the right time, and I was able to buy this. Without that, I still wouldn't have a place to go and do all these great things. So you got to keep looking around. I mean, if it's something you really dream about, you have to take a look around and see what's. available and stay on top of it. Kind of bug the neighbors a little bit once in a while. Now I gotta put some wood on the fire real quick. I'll come right back. It's getting smoky. If it gets down too far, it'll get too smoky, and then Alright. Oh, we got hot. There we go. All right. Yeah, when I first start up this fire, I get real nervous because I get lots of sparks and lots of smoke, and it's very scary because I'm afraid the fire department will run in any minute. But after, you have to get, the key is to start everything with super dry firewood. That's a very important component of having the fire in the middle there. Yeah, and it's smoking again. No, that's not cool. I may have to open the door back up so I can get some air. Yeah, but it's really working here in England. Yes. Oh boy. Well, yeah, that's tough. It is. I've never been there. I was planning to maybe go there one day, but at the moment, the way the world is, it's not on the top of my list. But I'm sure it's a very beautiful place, especially with all the Viking history and all of the landscapes that are really, you don't get anywhere else but there. I'm sure that's really cool. I got these flies flying around here. They don't like the smoke either. Yeah, I'm going to open the door just a little bit. It's like almost suffocating in here. Very smoky. See, that's the problem I have. I opened the door. That did help quite a bit. Okay, it was just out in the woods. That's awesome. Yes, Monoco 64. I was working on the camp a little bit today. I got some time off from work, so I can get the camp a little bit cleaned up. It's kind of been a mess for a while. I've just had no time. Been out on adventures in my life, in other places, and so I have to kind of come back down here and clean up. Let's see, we got 4 thumbs up. That's awesome. Yeah, this is just a quick test stream to see like if this works. I'll have to do this more often. Now I figured out that the lighting needs to be here, right where I sit. I need to figure something out. Maybe add some lanterns, hanging lanterns. I'm still adding components to the center beams of the hut so that I can hang things down to cook on the small fire. Maybe some cooking utensils and stuff like that. And I want to put it to where I can hang the bar. It has all the hanging things, and when I want to put it down, if we do play instruments sometimes in small groups, so we could actually sit on the floor in the cabin here around the center and play instruments. That's a really cool experience. And then I can take all the cooking gear down and just put it aside, and we'll have the entire surface area of the floor and inner part of the cabin to play our music, which is really cool. It's something I have not done in about 2 years, which I'm looking forward to doing, especially in the wintertime when it's cold outside. Come a little closer here. Oh, hello, let's see what we got here. Stone Wolf Outdoors. Hello, how are you? Glad to see you. Yeah, for those of you that missed, this is just a quick test stream. Just testing out. And the battery here on my streaming device is pretty low. So I have 20% left. So we'll see. We'll hang out another 10 minutes, and then we'll see how that goes. And then I'll have to probably end the stream because my streaming device over here is the batteries are low. I wasn't prepared for this too well today. Yeah, lighting and the music sounds like a great idea. Yes, thank you. Yeah, the lights. Yeah, I'm gonna hang right up around here. I've seen at Headby they have these hanging Boards, I thought they were really cool. I have a board all sanded nicely and left a couple of rough touches to it. I haven't, like I said, today's the first day I've been back to full-time working on the camp. And tomorrow I'm actually going to fire up the forge and make a couple of things for here because I need to make some brackets for the pillars that are in the center. Need to make some more hooks. Yeah, the smoke is really bad right now. I got to really figure something out. I think you can see the smoke in here. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's in the lighting. I'm going to actually put something here, like hang down some lanterns, or I'm going to flip the laptop around real quick. It's kind of a mess in here, so don't take that. This isn't full 100%. It's still Baustelle. We say in Germany. It's a construction site. Still working on certain things, trying to get it right. I'm going to flip the computer around so you guys can see. What did I do? I'm going to try to do this without tearing down. I got the door over here. That's the door to the outside. And then I have here, I've got a nice fire going on. I've got a light on over there so you guys can see me. Where is it? Oh, right there. I got a fire going on. Yeah, it stopped smoking now, which is good. And I've got a window over there. I've got a small window. Yeah, so anyway, it's too dark in here to see anything. I put that back. I clicked on something here. What's this? Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you. Yes. So how has everybody been? Is the weather starting to turn to fall in your area yet? I have some of the trees have lost all of their leaves already here. We had a bad storm here. And smoke. Smoke. We had a bad storm here a couple of weeks ago, and it blew down 3 or 4 more trees over in the forest next to the camp. Luckily, in the other direction. And I was going to cut those down, but you can't cut down the whole forest. I was worried about them falling before they fell, and now they fell the other way. And there's still some that are still dangerous, but they're far enough away that I hope they don't fall in here. On the Oregon coast, a bit wet, great fun for making videos. That's awesome. Yes, I have planned. Let's see, what are my plans? I'm working on a really, let's say, how am I gonna? There's something that really on my mind. I'd like to make a video about it. It's something that really affects me personally, and yeah. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. How that's gonna be applied to my Viking camp here. But it's something very important to me, and it might change my life here coming up. And in a direction that's going to be more YouTube orientated or not, we'll have to see. So if I'm going to be full-time YouTuber, that's of course that's a new experience for me. But it's not as easy as it sounds. I know that, and it's going to be a great challenge. And it's a new milestone in my life. I've got a couple of challenges coming up. Feuerfrei, yes, exactly. Genau. So there might be some changes going on in my life here that may affect what I may be doing for 8 hours of the day here. So I have to make some decisions based on those decisions. And yeah, so you guys are going to be along the way. Either way, it's going to be the standard Berserker gang, or it might be a full-time job. So we'll see. But I hope I can manage to keep everything in the balance. That's very important. My bees, yes. Well, I just took a quick look, and that's the first thing on my list of things to do tomorrow morning. As soon as I get up and I let the dogs out and stray away everything, I need to take care of the bees. The bees are getting ready for winter, and I've been feeding them since middle of May already, because this year here in Germany, the weather absolutely destroyed the entire bees' foods. They had, trying to get the ashes off the computer. They had no food this whole entire year. The rain, we had rain in, it was like 3 weeks of nice weather, February, March, and then we had rain, and then we had frost again when there was cherry blossoms. So all the blossoms on all the cherry trees, it was nothing. There was nothing, no honey this year at all. And I was feeding them in May already because food was so scarce for them. And the population really suffered under that. And now there's 2 colonies I'm still worried about. I'm not sure if there's a queen. and I'm not sure if they're actually big enough to even still be considered a colony. So I have to really take action tomorrow. First thing on my list, I'm going to open up the colonies if the weather is good, and do a full-on check and see. And if I have weak colonies, I may have to decide to combine the weak colonies and just have to call it what it is. I have to pick the older queen or the queen that's not doing the best job, and she gets fired. This is how that works. So hopefully I can make them all be okay, and that's a pun, be okay. And I'll have, it's I think 7 colonies. So I hope I can go into the winter and come out of the winter with 7 colonies. But that's to be, I have to check that out tomorrow. But other than that, as far as that goes, my bees are doing okay for circumstances. I had to cut back on I really had 14 colonies going, and they were all, I'm trying to translate it into English, I just started them off from a split, exactly. I had a whole bunch of bee split colonies from when it was swarming season, and it was really, really intense. I had my biggest colony, they kept making queen cells, and I said, why throw these away? I'd like to expand my population. So I made a whole bunch of bee splits, and because of the bad weather, the queens either never developed fully or didn't come back from their mating flight. So that's really ruined all of the fun out of that, and it ended up going back to almost what I entered the year with, 7 colonies. So. But I replaced a bunch of one of my favorite colonies. The queen was now 3 years old. She stopped breeding, and that really destroyed that colony. And I caught it 2 weeks too late. I was too late, and I was going to do something about it, and it just didn't happen. So we'll see how that goes. I hope I didn't destroy that colony by being too late. Yes. It's the ashes from the fire coming down here on the computer. I don't like that. Cool. Well, that's glad I've eight thumbs up already. That's great. I wasn't paying attention to that. But as far as what I see here, sound and picture is almost 1-to-1 from what I'm putting in here, and that's good. I was hoping for no lag, no delays, and no major problems. I'm happy to see all you guys here, and that's awesome. 9 thumbs up. Wow, this is cool. Yeah, I'm really excited. This is my first successful live stream, actually, I think. Is it? Yeah, I think so, on my channel at least. And that's really awesome. Yeah, it's not easy for anyone. That's sad to hear. Let's be, and especially now the beekeeping beekeepers here in Germany. See, here in Germany, the Green Party, they have a couple screws loose, and they think they're protecting nature by doing all these really weird new rules and regulations, but actually all they're doing is just making life harder for people who are trying to actually take care of their animals. And so now they're coming out with all these new laws for beekeepers too. You can't use the smoker, you can't use certain things. It makes it really tough, and you're supposed to save the bee population, and all they do is just make it put bumps in the road instead of actually assist you in any way. They're not as green as at all. They just try to make money anywhere they can with new policies and just crazy ideas. Someone's bored somewhere, and that's what happens. They don't come up with useful things. They come up with things that are irrelevant to actually successful improvements. But anyway, that's coming up here, so I have to keep an eye out for the new regulations and stuff. But I hope they don't ban the smoker, because that's actually a really useful tool that's been actually being used for thousands of years, which is really interesting because I do study the history of beekeeping, and there's some evidence actually that humans, since the Stone Age, our ancestors from that time, actually kept bees in clay pots, almost like flower pots, because they found fragments of clay pots with beeswax in them. So that's a speculation that they possibly could have had their own bee colonies back in the Stone Age, which was really interesting. Now, when people say the Stone Age, people think of cavemen and all that, like the cartoon Stone Man, the guy with the club running around. our Stone Age predecessors, they were actually quite technologically seen, they were quite far advanced, more advanced than we actually could imagine if you really take the time to do some research and find out what they really did have. It comes to the fact that we now even know that they may have even had social circles and a form of democracy and a form of voting for things, and cultural decisions were made together, and people were actually able to test and develop new things and bring new intelligence from other groups of people, and that's how I guess technology evolved very, very quickly back then, and it's really, really interesting. If I do a lot of reading from time to time about that period, because that's where we all started out, and the technology is interesting to go out and actually hands-on, and how was that? How did that work? You know, and so I like to do that kind of research myself, try to get some things and try them out. Like I still have not had success. As I look at YouTube all the time, the people make it like it's no big deal. The birch tree bark tar. Every time I either explode the can and almost catch the camp on fire, or some odd, out of the normal thing here. And I just watch people on YouTube like it's no big deal. They make birch oil and birch tar. It's just easy. What I have been making a lot lately is tar out of pine trees. That's super easy to make. We use it on all kinds of things. Vanessa, she makes these really cool little birdhouses out of pieces of wood that already have holes in them from nature, and puts moss roofs on them, and she glues them all together, uses nails here and there. But like the sticks and all the things that go together, all the aesthetical parts are all glued on with natural glue, with this pine tar glue, which is so cool. It's really, really awesome. Pine tar. So getting a new knife soon, maybe tomorrow. Wow. You can't have enough knives. I have very many. I used to started my blacksmithing career actually as a knife maker. I did that for 6 years, and I had a professional shop set up. And I went to go shopping for 2 hours, and I came back, and the iron gate, the gate that I had, is like a back behind a house kind of what do you call it, like a driveway that had a roof over it, and you couldn't see the shop. It was around the corner, but the driveway had an iron gate. It was 2 meters tall, and I came back, the iron gate was gone. All the interior, everything, my anvil, they cleaned that thing out within 2 hours. Nobody saw anything, and I lost all my stuff, so I got really angry. And that kind of was it for me. I quit making knives, and I spent a whole year investing into it, and someone just drives up in 2 hours and takes away your stuff. So yeah, then I got into doing my YouTube, and I was lucky enough to really, after a long time, get this property here, and I could start back up again. This is way out in the boonies. To drive anything up in here that doesn't have four-wheel drive is insane. So yeah, it's just barely so that I can get my van up in here to let the dogs out. Let's see, pine tar is very handy. They have found. Looking at reading the comments here. I'm just going to go one by one. So, hello, Brian. Yes, welcome. And yeah, well, stealing tools. I'm going to finish the comment on the pine tar. The Germanics, the Germanen, they found in the skeletons of the graves that they have dug up, they found that they use certain types of pine tar or birkenpesh, the birch tree tar, for teeth fillings, which was really interesting. They used it for teeth fillings, so they understood that oh, excuse me, the smoke. And it's getting cold. I gotta throw my jacket on real quick. I have the door open, and the fire went out. I'm not gonna put any more wood on the fire, because it's almost time to go here. The battery on the streaming device over here, I'm calling it streaming device, it's actually my cell phone. I'm not a great fan of cell phones at all, don't get me wrong, but there's a one in few reasons I have it. It's an instrument, it's a tool, and when I don't want it, I put it away. That's it, simple. I don't try to stick on that thing 24/7, but I use it as a tool. I make pictures with it. I use it, but I don't like cell phones. I'm not a fan of them. I try to use it as little as possible, but today everything you just part of that and work, constantly calling, and yeah, that's a small problem, but I can deal with it. But right now I'm using the streaming device as for the internet. So let's see what we got. The audio level is a bit hot. Yes. What I could do as well is probably get the microphone from the Rode microphone from my camera and actually mount it here somehow on the screen, and maybe that will fix some of the sound. Let's see. Yeah, stealing a man's tools, that is absolutely something you would never do. You know, I mean, if you found something in the forest somewhere far away, just running away. But this was in the middle of town, and someone pulled in with a little truck with a little crane on the back. They lifted the gate, and they had probably 3 guys that were like, it was a quick job. It must have not took 15 minutes to rob all of the stuff. They took even, the anvil wasn't as big as mine I have here. It was only about 150 kilos, maybe 120, but it was nailed down to the wood stump. They lifted the thing up and took it with the wood stump. It looked like someone had swept the garage clean of all the stuff. They took all the metal stuff. It was that was years ago. It's kind of just, I forgot about it. Bushcraft now. Yeah, I don't want to talk about the mandates here on the channel. That's a very depressing topic. I like to keep a positive outlook on that, and we'll stick it to that right now. This is a test live stream, so as well, and but there is some things that I'm going to be talking about here, and I have to prepare the video footage, and I have to prepare mentally for that video first, so that it will be worth my while, and it'll be worth your while to watch it, so I can share it with you and the rest of the world. So we have good evening. Yes, hello, Brian. And yeah, I haven't tried it to seal wounds. I'm kind of iffy about that. But pine resin, yes, that works great. Pure pine resin, because it's still in liquid form, antibiotic, antiviral, and anti-inflammatory, all that. And often, when I'm walking through the woods, I take a small piece of fresh pine tar and I use it like candy. I don't chew it because it'll never come off your teeth. And you have to be careful not to push it up to the top of your mouth and your gums with your tongue, or you'll be stuck in there forever. You won't be able to get it out. And you'll have this it'll numb your mouth, actually. If you have problems with your gums or your teeth, it's a very good remedy to help you out in a little bit, take away some of the pain and help heal. Of course, you should always, make sure you see a dentist before you start working on your own teeth and stuff like that. But I saw let's see. Oh my, that's terrible. Yes, Dan. That someone took all their tools, and that does ruin someone's life, definitely. You work every paycheck. When I was working as a mechanic, when I first started out 25 years ago, I had a small toolbox. I mean, I went to the store and I paid like $50 for the sockets and like 3 screwdrivers and some wrenches, and that's when I started out. I had to do my job with that. And then you go and look at your buddies, your guy next to you, your coworker, and they've got these master snap-on toolboxes, and you're like, wow, cool, and of course they have a lot of experience, and sometimes they've had the luck to work places where they've issued those, and you get to keep your tools when you leave, and which is a great bonus. I think every major mechanic shop should add on if in part of the contract. But I had to work my way up from like I said, $50 worth of tools. So I have a real nice master set of Snap-on, some of the European style automotive repair tools now, specialty tools, and I'm working on buying a new scan tool for. It's just nowadays they're just tablets. I mean, you get the software and you get the OBD2 plug and the Wi-Fi. You plug the Wi-Fi thing into the OBD2, and you can just drive around with a tablet and do random. You can take the tablet out and walk around the car with it. It's great. I just actually today got my van through inspection. My new van, my Volkswagen, is currently still broken down. Hopefully next week it may be back on the road, depending. But my Renault van that I had to buy on short notice to get back on the road, I just got it through inspection today, so that's really cool. On the way home, the battery died. I was sitting in the parking lot, I guess, too long, listening to music, and I wore the battery down, and the battery light came on the way home, which told me I have to check that. So I checked the alternator, it's great. The battery was quite a bit weak, and I looked at it, and it didn't look like it had been changed in the last 4 or 5 years. So I went straight down to the car replace, which isn't the one of my choice. I didn't get my super cool discount from my car parts dealer. That would have been another half-hour drive. But so I just put a new battery in it, and now I'm back on the road. I had to use the scan tool to get it through inspection there. I changed all the diesel glow plugs out, and I had to relearn the computer. They had to recognize all of the injectors, and I had to reflash the memory because the check engine light wouldn't go out no matter what I did. So I had to basically brainwash the computer and put in all the information by hand. It was a very, very scary moment. I thought my car never run again. But it did, and I passed inspection out, made me really happy. That's one real positive thing that I've been, it's on my mind, been on my mind now, because the inspection would have been due next week. So that's all taken care of now for 2 years here in Germany. So what we got there? Oh, Björn, hello. Hello. I was just saying this is just a test stream. I'm at the cabin. That's in my, we're still trying to define if this is a roundhouse, a hut, cabin, or lavu, who knows? I'm going to kind of figure it out here over the course of the year. Yeah, I just had this. I'm doing a live stream here. My battery is getting very low. I have 16% left on the streaming device over here, and so let's see. I don't want to miss anybody's comments. Let me quickly scan. Thank you, Monoko. My videos, yes, I do my best. This is a real new thing for me, YouTube. This is just my second year. I've had lots of great help from some really good people. They know who they are. And yeah, I've learned a lot on my own, and I've developed a lot of my own things around the camp. And the camp is my YouTube studio. That's what's becoming more and more. It's actually my YouTube studio. It's going to take another good year or two to get it the way I like to get it, to actually be able to use it full on. It's more, every year is like an experiment to see what works, and what doesn't work next year I do it better. So a lot of things that I did the year before I didn't do this year, I did different, and some of them didn't work this year. So next year I'm going to be, instead of sowing the right half of the field with just random seeds, I'm going to be actually making raised beds out of old logs that I find in the forest, and actually making some real Viking style kind of farm inspired single crops, so single plants for the bees. Some things are food. I have the raised beds I usually put my food on. Somehow the mouse got in there and destroyed a lot of it, which was really, I was very angry about that mouse, but what can you do? Yeah, so yes, and I'm very happy to see Björn. Let's see, who else? Yeah, I'm sitting in my cabin here doing a quick test. I'm going to, now we figured out the light needs more light right here, but I'm wearing my yellow jacket. Can you see me? Yeah, everybody always laughs about my yellow jacket, but let me tell you, I'm always out on the road. This is sort of like just, I put this on and people laugh at me all the time. You look like one of those guys that takes out the trash. I work on cars all day. I work in the forest. I work with chainsaws. I'm out in the dark, so it's a good thing to have on. You don't want the hunter shooting at you here. This kind of, that's some areas in the world that's a problem. So especially when you're doing metal, I do a lot of metal detecting, and if I'm crawling around somewhere, I don't need somebody aiming at my butt while I'm in the air digging a hole thinking I'm a wild boar or something. I don't need that. Do you have any Uyu knives? Are they? I do not know that manufacturer. I must look into that. Uyu knives. I must check that out. Somebody sent me a message here. What's this? My battery. Yes, that's pretty cool. I was working a little bit on organizing the outside around the cabin. It looks like a Baustelle. That's what we call a construction site in German. Yeah, it's so I'm cleaning that up. I'm going to be moving all of my plants that I have sitting next to the forge. They're going to be going to the other side, out of the view of the camera when I'm filming the forge. I got a lot of comments on that, and I agree. And I just have to adapt everything. I need an area where I can actually make do to work on my planting and taking care of my plants, because I do a lot of plants. I go around a lot. So if I'm somewhere and I see something I like, I always have my handy dandy snippers, and I snip me off a piece and I make cuttings like a stecklingen. So I try to always reproduce plants that are good for the bees and have some kind of positive attribute to them. I try to make lots of them and put them in lots of places, give them away as gifts. And when you do stuff like that too, you have to make a whole many, because only a quarter or less end up actually becoming healthy plants. The rest of them usually wither away, or you don't water them correctly, or they just don't grow as they're supposed to. So you have to make like a whole bunch, and out of that, like a quarter of the ones that you made usually end up actually work success. I have a whole bunch of plants at the house too. I forget to water them. There's so many. Vanessa's always like, you forgot to water your bee trees you have in the winter garden. And I was like, oh, whoops. Yeah, because I forget that. Yeah. So let's see. We have here. Make sure I don't miss anybody on the comments. The sound is a bit coarse. Yes, Bjorn, the sound, we already talked about that. I think the sound I can improve if I plug in the microphone from my camera to the laptop. And I think that will fix that problem. So I'm going to go home tonight and charge everything up, and maybe have another attempt here on this tomorrow. Yes, that's good. Everybody's telling me I can't see what's happening on the other end or here. We have figured out the light I must improve the light. And I have all kinds of torches on in here, but they're not bringing enough light into this camera. I maybe somehow hook up the video camera. I don't know, maybe that would work better with the picture quality, and I can look at the screen and do comments. I have to experiment with that tomorrow sometime. Yeah. Well then, it's getting dark here. The sun has left the valley, and it's still up for another maybe 15 minutes, and that'll be it. Then it'll be dark. And as soon as it hits the horizon up there behind the trees, it gets really cold out here. Yes, thank you, Bob. I really, really appreciate that. That does help me out a lot. Having all you guys, you guys are great. And it's strangely warm. Wow, I remember last year we had rain for a little bit. It was raining in the mornings around this time. And then we had fairly mild weather all day. It was nice out today as well. It was about 10 degrees with the sun up. It was cloudy, and we had lots of fog. It's very foggy the last couple of days here. Yeah. Okay. See, I don't mind when it rains in the morning or when I'm not out. It can rain. It's good for the plants, and especially my buddy owns a construction company, and he's got this huge area where they just dump different types of earth and sand and stone, and they do all their pre-work there on the materials, and a lot of wild trees and just wild bushes and flowers and plants grow there. And there was this huge willow tree. It was like 5-6 meters tall, and I said, I want that. So I went and he said, well, how are you going to get it out? I jumped on the excavator and I excavated it with one scoop, and I threw it on the trailer and took it home, which is really, really bad for the tree, but they were going to drive it over with a bulldozer, so I gave the tree a chance. I really would have really liked to see it grow here, and now I saw it sprout today, new branches at the bottom, which made me very happy. Well, no, I kind of mentioned that there's, referring to Bjorn, just comment down here, how are things going? The issue I talked about, yes, we talked about together. Yes, I'm waiting. I have done what I can so far. I've done my best without kneeling down to anybody or giving away my freedom. And so we'll have to see how that goes. But I got my van through inspection today. That made me very happy. That's 2 years now. Had to, on my way home, the battery broke down, so I had to fix that. I had to buy a new battery, but that's a good plus. Now I know I have a new battery for the winter. Yes, and I'm going to be making a video about that this weekend. I have to get my thoughts straight and think about how I'm going to present that. And thank you for asking. That's very kind. Yeah, it's now almost 1 year now. We should celebrate. I was in Norway last year around this time. Actually, I arrived tomorrow at 31st. No, wait, I left actually on this day, and I drove for 2 days, and it was the 31st of October on 2020 that I arrived in Norway. Yes. I definitely, that was the adventure of my life. I can tell you that was, it felt for me, leaving my home that day, it felt for me, on Halloween. I remember it's going to always be in my memory. It was a very, very, I had the time of my life up there. It was a great trip, and I'll never forget when I left here. For me, it felt like I was driving away. It was like a Viking ship ride, as you go a Viking. On my ship, I sail to faraway lands, and it was, for me, that was what it felt like, because behind me, it felt like the world was burning down as I was escaping away, and I was driving into uncertain terms, because I didn't know what was going to happen when I got to the harbor. I didn't know if they were going to allow me in on the fare, on the boat, and I didn't know if I get to the other side in Sweden if they were going to allow me to drive out. And then I had to drive to Norway, which it was very scary. And then all of that, I did not know if I was going to ever even be able to come home, that was the biggest dilemma. And so it was exciting. It was the adventure of my life. I've been to some really awesome things, and this one means a lot to me. I mean, for me, it was very important. I had a great time, and I had to thank Björn for being, who he is, and great guy, good friend. It's good. And I've had an experience that I've been missing in my life for a long time, and I hope to come back when the world gets back to a point where that will be possible for us to travel to each other's countries and not have to feel like refugees. And yes, you have to fix the roof still. Yes, I really kind of feel sorry that I didn't do. I'm not a roofer, roofs and stuff, but that's. I hope that works out. My roof here, I had help from my buddy Chris. He is a carpenter, and we fixed my roof here. It still leaks. The boards, when you put them down, they dry, and when they dry, they start to shrink and crack and spread. And so what I have to do, I had to tar the roof now for the first layer. I decided to tar the roof and leave it. So at least it's got one layer of tar, and then we let the tar weather. And in the spring, when the first couple nice weeks of nice weather come in here, I will climb up there again, and I will tar the living crap out of it with the thick tar. I put this, it's like an oil-based tar. It soaks in the wood, and I'm going to go up there and fill all the cracks with wool and tar, historically correct, and hopefully I can get it sealed to the point where it won't leak hardly any water in here, and I can sit in here when it rains and storms and be out of the weather and do whatever it is I want to do inside. So yeah, the speed limits everywhere I think is a joke. Here in Germany, we have the speed limit on our Autobahn, which is our highways. is recommended 130 unless under is recommended speed. So they say drive 130 kilometers an hour, which actually I don't hardly ever drive 130 kilometers an hour in my van. That's not. There's times you can do that safely. It's when you have a nice long stretch and you have to pass a bunch of cars and trucks, and it'll do that easily. But it catches the wind very well, and it's very unsafe to drive high speeds if you're doing a lot of swerving style driving or the road is wet. And a lot of places here in Germany, the streets, especially the autobahns, it's a joke here. The roads are just terrible. You pay all this money for taxes, and the roads are like they tear a hole in the road and they leave it for 2 months and they don't work on anything. They just tear a hole in the road, and then they go tear a hole in the road over there, and they drive to the next place and they tear everything up, and then they come back and they do some work, and then it's terrible. That's what it is. We call it. It's Baustelle everywhere. We should just take the name Deutschland off the map and put Baustelle on there, because that's what it is. Especially when you drive up to North Germany, that's where it's the worst I've experienced. The worst is in North Germany. It's just when I was going to Norway last year, I was in a construction site that lasted for like 12 kilometers, and it felt I was going 80 kilometers an hour behind this truck for 12 kilometers, and it was just terrible. We was up there. We took a trip to the North Sea, and then to the east, we used to call it the Ostsee, the East Sea. So same thing this year. It's the same construction. Yeah, I'm kind of jealous of Young's cabin. Actually, I must say that. I must straight up. I really want one like that dimension. I think it's more cool than he does. I don't know, maybe because it really looks really nice from inside and outside, and it feels like a real nice place to be. It gives you this warm feeling of welcome, and it feels like a place you really want to go sit down and be around. Just sit there, and it's a very positive. There's a lot of positive energy in that, and I like that, and I like the way it looks, and it plays the part extremely well. I think we did a fair job on it. I think so. It's an experience. Maybe I would like to build one almost identically. Almost. I'm not going to copy your cabin, of course, but the 3x we use the dimensions. Yes, I can't remember, but something in that direction here, so that I can put benches to sleep on, a fire in the middle. Of course, my throne seat, and it can hold about maybe 10 people. That's the deal. I never have more than 10 people hang out up here. And then I also have the tent and the round cabin, and I'm holding off on all these projects because there is a lot going on in my life right now that I did not expect, and there's some property. I hear something outside. There's some property that I'm looking at right now as well, but I want to leave that all on its own right now for another day. Let's see. Dan did not. You can tell an Autobahn accident because the engine's end up 200 yards away from the car. We may laugh about that now, but it's actually true, and it's actually a terrible thing because I work at I have this. I manage this auto recycling place there for the military here, and we get cars from accidents that don't have engines, the people didn't, we don't want to talk about that, but I've seen those type of accidents, and I've seen the cars, and it's true, and most of the time it's ignorance, people just driving too fast, and people driving recklessly, not paying attention, and yeah, so it's not a good topic to talk about that. It's a very scary thing. I've been at a couple of accidents like that, responding to. There's not much you can do, but keep people moving and call the ambulance and the police. It's shocking stuff, yes, and it's nothing to talk about really. for just the fact that it's kind of a what do you call it? Yeah, it shouldn't be that way. It's okay that you have a nice car and take it out for a spin, maybe on the autobahn when there's no one out. You can get up to nice speed, but you need to drive responsibly. You can't be out there doing it's wet, and a lot of people, and not just the young drivers, it's everybody. It's different ranges of age get in their Porsche or their Maybach Mercedes, and it's usually those cars that cause the accidents. The top end cars, the drivers of those top end cars think they have this top end, modern race car packed with luxury, and they can just drive because all these buttons that they push keep the ESP and the ASR and all the functions keep the car under control. But it's actually not that way. It's the driver. The driver should always have control of the vehicle, and then they go hopping down the autobahn like they own it, and those things happen. Yes, the house is important too. My house is, I've been working on the house a little bit here and there at home. We're working behind the house. I have a small patch of garden. It's not much, but I let the dogs out. It's enough to grow some. I'm going to actually convert half of that now to actually gardening. So we're going to start to really rack up our prepping gear here at the house. We're going to have a little garden at home. We're going to have some real nice things here. And really full out, try to get off-grid. Off-grid as far as possible. I'm not going to take my house and unplug the electricity. As long as that's, I don't have the financial resources to go straight out like that at the moment. But who knows, if this maybe channel grows into 1 million subscribers, then I might be able to do that and have electricity here at the Viking camp, which I'm working on. I do have a mobile internet. I can take that anywhere I go. But right now it's at the house because the house internet, I canceled the contract because it never worked. And I got very angry and I said, you can come get your internet box. I don't like this thing. And so they turned it off. So I have my mobile internet, my Starlink. I have Starlink now, yes. Some people might criticize me for that. But my goal was to have that for the Viking camp so I could actually stream completely live, share everything I can possibly would like to share with you guys here. So it's one of my goals for the future. Yes, my van to camper van. That's one of the things. I have the van that the green one, the Volkswagen. It's a nice van, but there's never any. You have the dogs and that's it. You can't throw in. There's no space. So I got a bigger one. Now guess what? Big van, 2 dogs. There's more stuff in there for the dogs, and now there's no space. But there's enough space in that van. That is the smallest version of that van that they make. They make the taller version and the longer version, and they have 3 more sizes up. And I didn't want to get the 3 sizes up. I was happy with this one. I'm going to be putting solar panels on the roof and having a power converter and a solar battery in the van so that I can have mobile power, which may be able to power the live stream. And yes, then I would like to have certain things in that van that if I want to go somewhere, I can have small commodities like a little bit of electricity. I can have a little bit of that electricity could be used to charge my lighting, charge my tools, my power tools. I use, you guys must know that I'm a big fan of DeWalt battery powered tools. And I could use that to charge it with the inverter, charge my power tools to be on the road anywhere and be able to work. That's really important. You could use, and power tools are an essential add-on to actually being able to make a difference fast. And I know it's not bushcraft, but if it's a life and death situation like prepping or trying to build a shelter to survive in, you definitely want to have the best tools, and it's going to be the best that's on the market. And if Vikings were still, if they would have survived the sign of the times, and for all the reasons being said that they went kind of extinct, I'm going to say, but they disappeared from history for certain reasons. If that would have not happened, and they would be alive today, they would still be raiding on their high-tech ships. They would definitely have power tools, because their hand. I'm sure they had pain. They've had arthritis and inflammations in their knuckles from all of the handwork with the tools. And it was a hard life. Definitely very, very tough life, and it was tough on your body. And if just imagine what they could have done with power tools. They would have taken over the world. If you would have taken a set of power tools back 1,000 years in history and said, here, look at this, you can use this. Man, that would have been something. That'd be a funny video to make. Okay. All right. So my connection is getting unstable. I don't know if you can still hear me. Can everybody hear me still? Are we still here? It says here that I'm, please wait. Yes, okay. Well, I'm going to call this live stream to an end now because my battery is getting low and the YouTube is telling me the connection is getting unstable. And we're going on an hour now, 57 minutes. Wow, time flies. You're having fun. So I'm very, very happy to see all of you guys here. Very glad you could make it on short notice. This is, like I said, my first live stream at the Viking cabin. And it was a test to see if this setup is good. And I'm happy with it. Now, the sound, yes, we're going to work on the sound and the lighting. I'll have that straightened out next time. Okay. So, thank you all for tuning in. Thanks, Björn, for stopping in on short notice. That made my day. Yes, we want more live streams. That's going to happen. Yes, I get up in the morning and I always rush to see, because I take my phone as an alarm, and I always rush to see if you are live. That's the highlight of my morning. So you know that. Maybe that's something. And I will be on doing more live streams. Yes. Great tools. Draw knife. Okay. So. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. That'll be all for today. And like always, stay safe and see you soon.